Hello guys, thanks for joining this session. In this session, we are going to do a project where we will design the high availability AWS infrastructure. So far, we have learned so many services of AWS. Now it's time to design a more meaningful project. So let's jump into the diagram to understand what we are going to design in this project. So guys, basically we are going to design this infrastructure where we are having a default VPC along with elastic load balancer. There are two EC2 instances which is being configured within two different availability zones. So we will design such infrastructure where at any point of time if any of the EC2 instance is going out of service, then another EC2 instance will automatically come as replacement, the help of auto scaling. So now let's look into the design elements of this project. So in this project we are going to use EC2, which is going to be converted into AMI. Then we are going to use security group, target group, launch configuration, auto scaling group, and a scaling policy. These things you will come to know in this project. Some of the things which we have already gone through, like EC2, AMI, security group, target group as well. Some of the thing which you will find over here is the new for you. That's okay if you are not able to understand that. Once we will do the project, then you will come to know that what is the significance of all these elements. So now let's jump into the AWS management console, and we will do the first step. We will create an EC2 instance, and then afterwards we will create an AMI with the help of that EC2 instance. So let's jump into AWS management console. Now we are into AWS management console. Now we will go to the EC2 dashboard. Now we need to click on launch instance, click on free tier only, click the first one, click on next, configure instance details. So here we will keep the things default. The only thing we need to change over here is that we need to provide the bootstrap. So let's write some bootstrap over here. So I have written the script. So this bootstrap script is very straightforward script. So see here we are installing the HTTPD, that is Apache server, and we are doing the check config, and then afterwards we are creating an HTML and placing it into a specified location, and then afterward at the last line we are starting the services, that is HTTPD services, that is Apache server. Now moving further, click on next, add storage. Now click on next, add tag. Here we will give a tag, give a name, and give a infra template. Once done, we need to configure security group. Click on security group. Here we can add another rule for HTTP to open the port. For it we will keep it as a global. If you want, then you can provide any of the IP, but for this session we are going to keep it open so that it will be accessible from the any IP. So now moving further, click on review and launch. Now click on launch. So here we need to select the existing key pair. I already have. I select this one and I acknowledge. Click on launch instances. So it is launching. Now we need to click on the instance ID. So it will take it there. So it is still creating. It takes usually 1 minute. So it is created now. Now let's verify that whether this EC2 instance is serving our web page or not, as this EC2 instance is working as a web server. So how do we can verify that? We need to grab this IP and we need to come over here and paste it and enter. Yeah, it is serving our web page as we are getting the whatever we have bootstrap, so it is displaying over here. So now moving further, let's look into the diagram. So we have created the EC2 instance. Now next we need to create a AMI using that EC2 instance. So let's jump into the AWS management console. Now here to create an Amazon machine image, you need to come here, click on action, go to image, click on create image, and here you need to provide a name, web server image, and leave everything as is. If you want to provide the description, you can come over here and provide the description as well, and then you need to click on create image. So it has created an image. So it is in a process to create that image. So that's what it is telling. So close it. We need to go to the AMIs. So here we will get that information. So it is still creating. So that's the reason it is telling that it is in a pending state. So we will wait for it. So now it has created an image. Now we will go ahead and delete the EC2 instance. So we will go to EC2 instance, and here we need to select the actions, instance state, and here we need to select the terminate. Yes, terminate. This no longer needed as we have created the AMI that we will use in launch configuration. So it is terminated now. Now we will move further and delete the security group which we have created with this instance. So we will come here and click on security groups, and here we will come here and select action and delete security group. Yes, delete. Now move further. Let's jump into the diagram and let's look into that, what we need to do next. So now we have created the EC2 instance. With the use of this EC2 instance, we have generated an image. Now we need to configure Elastic Load Balancer. Now let's go back to AWS Management Console. So here now we need to click on Load Balancer. Now click on Create Load Balancer, and here we need to choose Application Load Balancer. Click on Create. Now we will specify a name, Web Server ELB. It should be internet facing, and here we need to specify into two of the availability zone. Availability zone, the zone 1 and the zone 2. So let's go ahead and do it. So here we need to specify that first one and the second one, and make sure that you will be choosing the public subnet, as I am having only one subnet over here. So little be cautious while choosing the subnet. It must be a public subnet. Now click on next configuration security setting. So we don't have security group, so click on next configure security group, and here we will create a new security group. We will give it a name, and here we have a specify a name, that is Web Server ELB security group. Remaining configuration we will keep it as is. So now click on next config routing. Now we need to specify the target group. Give it a name, Web Servers target group. So now everything looks good. Click on advanced health check settings. So these are the threshold limit for health check. You can change it as well if you want, but we will keep it as is, whatever the default configuration which is providing here. So now we will click on next register target. We are going to keep it as is, as there is nothing to configure, because this will be taken care by auto scaling group. So now click on next review. Now click on create. So load balancer is now creating. It is provisioned now. Close over here. So here it is provisioning. So it is still provisioning it. We will wait for it. Now we will do the configuration for auto scaling group. So here we will click on auto scaling group. Click on create auto scaling group. So configuring auto scaling group contains two-step process. One is to select a launch configuration. Another one is to create an auto scaling group. So let's get started. Click on get started. So here we need to choose the AMI which we have created earlier as a launch configuration. So to select the AMI which we have created earlier, we need to come here, click on my AMIs, and it will give us the AMI which we have created. We need to click on select, and we are going to select the T2 micro. Click on configure details. So give it a name. So I have given a name, Web Servers launch configuration. So here we don't need to do anything. All thing comes from AMI. Now click on next, add a storage. So click on next, configure security group. So we need to configure a security group over here. So this setup is really interesting. What we need to do, first we need to provide a name. So let me provide it. So now provided the name. So here we need to click on add rules and select the HTTP. So here we need to provide the IP for load balancer, because this instance is getting access from the load balancer. So to do that we need to write SG. So we will get the Web Server ELB which we have created the security group earlier, provide that so that it will be accessible from the load balancer only. Now click on review, click on launch configuration. So we will click on launch configuration, create launch configuration. After that we need to select the key pair which we already have. So I'm acknowledging it, create launch configuration. So first step was completed. Now we are into second step. We need to configure the auto scaling group over here. So provide a name, server auto scaling group. So this is important. In the group size we need to specify that at any point of time how many number of instance should be running. So we are specifying at least 2 at any point of time. And so in the subnet section we need to specify which of the availability zone belongs to this auto scaling group. If you go through the diagram, then you will find that we have specified availability zone 1 and availability zone 2. So these two zones we want to be available into the auto scaling group. So to do that we need to specify the subnet details. So let's do it. So here we need to choose availability zone 1 and then the 2, 1A and 1B. So now click on advanced details, and here we need to click on the load balancing. So if you haven't created the target group, you will get an option over here, but we have created already, so we are getting the option here. We need to select it, and health check type we are going to perform a ELB, and every 30 seconds the health check will happen. Now click on next, configure scaling policies. So this is really very important. If you remember that we have specified that at any point of time how many number of EC2 instance will be executing in this auto scaling group. We have specified 2. So this is really important. Suppose that if we want to increase and decrease the size of the EC2 instances, that means if the load of the traffic is getting increased and you want to increase the number of instances, then we need to come here and select the use cell scaling policies. We have earlier provided the size 2, so at any point of time it will maintain 2 number of EC2 instances. But suppose if you want to scale up and scale down, so what you need to do, you need to come here and specify that, and you need to click on add new alarm, and here you need to set up the configuration for alarm. Suppose that if your utilization is going more than 80%, then you have to specify it and click on create alarm. So it will send the notification with the help of notification services. So in the same way, you will also do it for the decrease group size. If suppose that CPU utilization is going below the usage of 60%, then you decrease it. And here after that, what action you need to take. Suppose that if it is getting increased more than 80%, then number of instances you want to run is 3. You can also add the steps as well. For this case, we are going to stick with keep this group at this initial size, so that at any point of time it will maintain at least 2 number of instances. So now click on next, configure notification. We can also add the notification over here, but we are going to stick with the default option. We are not going to add any kind of notification. So what this notification contains, just look into that. And here, if at any point of time, if you are launching or terminating, or if any of the condition is meeting, if you check over here, then it will send the notification. For example, if your EC2 instance is failed to terminate or failed to launch, then you will get the notification. But for this session, we are not creating any kind of notification. Now we need to click on next, configure tags. So give it a name. Now we will click on review. Now click on create auto scaling group. We'll create the auto scaling group. So it created now. Now we need to click on close. So it has created. So at any point of time, it should run 2 instances. Currently there is no instances. It will run now. So now you will find that it is running 2 instances. So we will look into those instances. We will go here and we will check that instances. So now you will find that these 2 instances is running, and which is coming from auto web server. So this is auto web server, and which is being created by the auto scaling group. One thing I wanted to show you over here is that we haven't registered any kind of EC2 instance in target group. But if you will go there, then you will find that these 2 instances is being registered. As we mentioned, it should be taken care by auto scaling group. So see here, if you click over here and click on targets, then you will find that it is being registered. 2 instances is being registered, which belongs to a auto web server. So this is what I wanted to show you. Now it's time to test it. So to do that, we need to click on load balancer. We need to grab the DNS name. So here we will grab this DNS name and try to access it, what it is coming. Let's see. So now I have grabbed it. Come here, click on browser, try to access it. Yeah, we are getting the project landing page. Next, we will do a testing. What we need to do, we need to go to the instances and we will delete one, and we will wait for some time, and we will look into that. The auto scaling will bring back that instance again, so that it will maintain 2 healthy instances at any point of time. So let's do it. Select one, click actions, instant state, terminate, just terminate, and we will wait for some time, and we will find that the other instance will come back again, because we are maintaining 2 instances at any point of time. So it is terminated. So we will wait for 30 seconds, as do the health check at 30 seconds as we have specified in the configuration. So here you will find that it is started creating the EC2 instance, as it has to maintain 2 number of instance at any point of time, the auto scaling group. So that's the reason it is creating another instance. What it did, it had checked that there are only 1 instance is running, and after that find that it is not matching with the auto scaling configuration. So to match it, it has created another instance, and it know that which one was deleted. So earlier it was deleted in this availability zone, so again it has placed to the same availability zone. So see here, so it has bring back the EC2 instance which was deleted or which was terminated, to maintain the 2 number of instances as which we have specified earlier into the auto scaling group configuration. So this setup is called high availability setup. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. So now go back to diagram. So we have designed this infrastructure. This is high available infrastructure with the help of auto scaling group, And to design all this thing, we have used all these elements where we have used EC2 instances, AMI, then we have created Elastic Load Balancer, security group, target group. We have used launch configuration, then we have set up auto scaling group, then we have also gone through scaling policies where we have keep the initial size 2, and with the use of all these elements we have designed the high availability infrastructure on AWS. I hope you enjoyed this project. Prior to closing the session, I want to tell you that don't forget to clean up your AWS resources. To do that, let's jump into the AWS management console. So first we need to delete the auto scaling group. We need to come over here. This cleanup is pretty much required, else it is chargeable. So make sure that you will clean up all the resources. Select it, action, delete. Just delete. So now once you delete this auto scaling group, it will delete the instances as well. Then after that, we need to delete the launch configuration. We need to come here, click on launch configuration, select it, action, delete the launch configuration. Next, go to the load balancer, select the load balancer, click on actions and delete. Now we need to delete the target group. So always make a practice to delete first load balancer and then the target group. So here you need to select the target group, action, delete. Yes. Now check that whether auto scaling group is deleted or not. So go into that. It is still deleting. Go to the instances, verify that instances, what is happening to the instances. So it is shutting down as we are deleting the auto scaling group. Just terminate it now. Now check the auto scaling group again. So it's gone now. Now we need to delete the security group. We need to come over here and click on security group which we have created. So we will delete that security group now. We will select those security group. Click on delete security group. Yes, delete. So select delete security group. Just delete. And at last we need to come here. AMI. We have created an image that also need to be deleted. So we need to select here. Click on deregister. Now verify once. Go to the EC2 dashboard. So everything is clean. There is snapshot is existing. We need to come here and select that snapshot and delete it. So let's select it and delete. So now again go and verify that. So everything is 0. That's fine. Keep where is not chargeable. That's fine. If it is existing more than one, that is okay. So this is what I wanted to demonstrate you in this session. See you in the next session. Till then, bye bye. Take care.